In today's game, which was of the match between Japan and Spain, the world champion Shohei Kimura, also known as Zeen, will take on Carlos Cabal, also known as Mirai, in Balance Mirror. I'm not gonna say too much else, but it's definitely a game worth watching. For our next match, we have Mirai and Zeen. Mirai, very, very strong player, and of course, someone who has gone all the way at Worlds, winning it all over Michael Kelch in Yokohama to have the crown, stay in Japan for the first ever World Championships in Japan. That, of course, is Shohei Kimura. Jump us right into team preview. Let's have a look at those teams.
Yep, on Zeen's side, we do have that Fluttermane, Landorus, Urshifu, Rillaboom, Raging Bolt, and Incineroar, so this time decides that the Fluttermane will be necessary. And on Mirai's side, we have the Fluttermane, Urshifu, Incineroar, Landorus, Rillaboom, and the Chien-Pao. So the differentiator, at least in the Pokemon, will be the Chien-Pao and the Raging Bolt, but I'm sure lots of different sets and EV trainings between the two players here.
Of course, you can always have a look at the HP numbers and see, okay, are there some things that these players are trying to do? We can see Fluttermane that doesn't have a lot of HP investment, I believe. And similarly, this Miracle Seed Rillaboom, I think, is something where recently we saw quite a little bit of Clear Amulet on Rillaboom, which is something that Zeen has also brought to a World Championships before. Something that he is known for using. But this time around, it's going to be the Miracle Seed, another option that you can go for on your Rillaboom if you want to get the Assault Vest and give it to that Raging Bolt. So once again, I would say, it's kind of what I was expecting from Zeen. It's a balanced team, but it has a couple of twists here. And let's see what Mirai can do against this in the Balanced Mirror, where neither player has the Calm Mind Raging Bolt.
Yep, we see the Rillaboom and the Fluttermane come out from Mirai's side versus the Rillaboom and the Landorus on Zeen's side. So, yeah, we see Rillaboom, I believe that was that Mirai's activating first, and then the Fluttermane activating the booster energy. Gonna assume that's the speed, but not, can't be certain until we see later turns.
I think having Rillaboom out on the field against Fluttermane is always kind of a nice feeling if you have the Assault Vest Rillaboom, because Fluttermane has already committed the booster, so now it would be susceptible to some attacks from this Rillaboom, whether it is the Grassy Glide to soften it up for later, or the Woodhammer that can just get the clear knockout. Landorus also is another one of those Pokemon that has a decent matchup against Fluttermane, especially if you consider the Terra. As Zeen is zooming through these menus, almost hitting the forfeit, but that's not happening this time around. And we do see Mirai with the faster Rillaboom goes for the Fake Out and also the Icy Wind. No Terra, that's a big hit, I would say. A lot of damage on the Landorus already.
Yeah, probably had we see the Sludge Bomb straight up knock out the Rillaboom on Mirai's side. Did you catch the item? Definitely not Assault Vest based off that damage, but yeah, we see the Icy Wind doing a lot of damage to the Landorus, bringing it below half critically, and then lowering the speed on the Rillaboom. But fortunately, you do take a lot of damage on your Landorus, but didn't use your Terastallization, and has taken a knockout on that Rillaboom.
Yeah, definitely a big KO, but that's I guess always the beauty that you have with these Fluttermane teams. If you get the Icy Wind off and your partner is knocked out the same turn, that just means your Urshifu can come in and, something is going to take a lot of damage because, you cannot protect from the hit. You are slower, so you have two choices. You can either just go down or you try and switch out. Seems like Zeen is going for what usually never works, which is trying to protect in face of this Urshifu. Even though Rillaboom going down for Mirai there on turn 1, I don't think this is what I would call like a bad spot. He has all the damage potential in the world this turn, and let's see if he can capitalize on it.
We're going to see a Terastallization to the Grass type on the Fluttermane, so a strong defensive Terastallization, particularly against the Rillabooms, often carrying the Grass type coverage and the Ground type in the Woodhammers and the High Horsepower. The Urshifu going for Detect, trying to protect in the face of any Grassy Glides. The Landorus goes for Protect as well, doesn't want to take any damage there. Grassy Glide just covering for the Fluttermane, not going for Terastallization. Goes for the Moonblast, looks like, into the Landorus, or an Icy Wind. Potentially as well, but just the Moonblast it looked like, and the Fluttermane healing up a fair amount after the grassy terrain, but critically the Urshifu still on the field against this Grassy Glide Rillaboom.
Yeah, that's a very, very, very high level play there. Going for the detect with your Urshifu in a position like this, and then Zeen goes for the protect on the Landorus facing down an Urshifu. I feel like Zeen was like, okay, well, I won't let you take 2 KOs at the same time, but I also value my Pokemon in the back too highly, so I'm not gonna switch anything out. Was saying that, well, you can knock out my Landorus, but then I will still have Rillaboom and vice versa. If you go after the Rillaboom, then I will still have Landorus. But now, actually, if this is like a close combat and Moonblast, maybe there is a chance for a double KO. And Urshifu will have to take this Grassy Glide here. But, of course, can take the hit. And, yeah, with Icy Wind close combat, this might be a double knockout for Mirai here. And that would bring him in the lead then.
Yeah, even with the Miracle Seed, not able to bring that Urshifu down. I'm not sure if it's Mystic Water or if it's Focus Sash, regardless, able to survive this turn, as we do see that Icy Wind KO the Landorus and now the close combat. Like you said, following up for a double KO due to Mirai's just really strong Detect last turn to set up for that. It was a pretty low risk, really, as long as you don't get Sludge Bombed on the Landorus, which was definitely an option. Zeen could have gone on the offensive that turn, but no, just read the defensive play. Really, really smart call, and is now has the Speed Booster Flutter Mane with the Grass Terrestrialization, really well set up against this Urshifu and Flutter Mane in the back.
Yeah, we got the Spider-Man meme, both of them, with a very, very powerful combination, of course. Flutter Mane plus Urshifu. And with a Terra Grass committed on the Flutter Mane, though, it might actually be able to withstand a couple of hits there as we get to look into which moves this Flutter Mane has over on Zeen's side. Actually, it has Shadow Ball, interestingly enough. We didn't see that for quite a bit. But yeah, it might come down to which of these Flutter Manes is faster, because yeah, if you can get the Icy Wind off first and then potentially follow up with a powerful hit as well onto the opponent's Flutter Mane before it can move, then that could be detrimental. At the same time, though, Urshifu against Urshifu, not really kind of the best, like matchup. Like you don't want to really use close combat with Urshifu. Typically, you would want to use Surging Strikes. So Zeen could also just go ahead and attack into the Urshifu to knock it out with a Flutter Mane instead of going for Icy Wind.
We see a Terrestrialization coming out from Zeen's Urshifu, going for the Water type, really just trying to get rid of that Moonblast weakness to the opposing Flutter Mane. We're going to see, I believe it was we see an Aqua Jet coming out. Interesting, trying to, I believe, break the Focus Sash on Zeen's Urshifu, as we see Moonblast just take out the Urshifu. On the opposing side, Urshifu goes down. Definitely one Urshifu going down this turn. I don't believe a Moonblast should be capable of knocking out this Urshifu. We do see the Moonblast come out. Actually quite close. A critical hit would have gotten there. As we see the close combat follow-up, knocks out the Flutter Mane. Okay, yeah, we see double KO last turn, and now we have another double KO this turn.
Yeah, double KOs back and forth, and now I believe that means that we will seeing the last and final Pokemon then for Mirai, and it has to be that Qianpao. Which is coming in now and will have to do all the damage for Mirai, but I think that might be a little bit too tough, seeing as there is still the potential to go for a for some attacks here. I mean, is there a risk of still losing to like a Sucker Punch critical hit?
Yeah, I think potentially. We're just gonna see a forfeit though. Not even gonna reveal the. Yeah, interesting. Not even going to kind of suss out the bulk on the Flutter Mane by at least going for maybe a Sucker Punch on that turn or the next turn. So yeah, not going to see that. So Mirai either just thinking that game's not worth playing out, or not wanting to reveal perhaps if he's an Adamant Qianpao or a Jolly One, revealing his EV spread in that respect. Interesting forfeit. I do think, Marcus, you pointed out, if you Sucker Punch the Urshifu on that turn, take the knockout before it can Aqua Jet to get rid of your Focus Sash, and then maybe you get a Sucker Punch crit on the next turn and knock out the Flutter Mane. You actually could turn that game around. But Zeen just taking that game one in a convincing last turn. But yeah, it definitely was up in the air after Carlos made that really strong Detect play to get a double knockout in the previous turns in the battle.
Yeah, I actually had a quick glimpse over on the point of view from Mirai, and it is actually a clear Amulet Rillaboom over on that side of the field. That's why it just got knocked out in turn one by the Sludge Bomb. But while we're still missing all the details for Mirai's team here, at least we have Zeen's team that was able to win him the first game in the set. And he's winning the first game one now for Japan. And we'll look to follow up with another win to bring Japan back in the lead.
Yeah, it seemed like a really interesting game where Zeen actually left his Flutter Mane in the back. Really uncommon choice. Usually you'll see like Mirai, the more typical option, going for the Flutter Mane early to open up for your offensive Pokemon like the Clear Amulet, Rillaboom, and the Urshifu to have the speed advantage and sweep from there. How do you expect to see Mirai adjust?
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. Well, we did see the speed play out between the Flutter Manes, and it was Zeen's that was faster, right? So
yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, with that, I think the lead of going for Rillaboom and Landorus was pretty like anti-Fluttermane in some sense. Like it is really difficult. Like Fluttermane is a very good Pokemon, so it's kind of sometimes it can be quite difficult to actually to threaten it. But we're already jumping into game 2, so well, let's see how the players answered this question. It seems like a Rillaboom and Qianpao, very offensive lead coming out there for Mirai to maybe try and catch a Rillaboom in the lead once more. And yeah, for Zeen we have Rillaboom against and Urshifu, so a little bit of a different game plan this time around. But yeah, well, having Landorus against this Qianpao would not have been good, so I think good adaptation also by Zeen to switch things up here with this Urshifu in the lead.
Yeah, I believe it was the Rillaboom on Mirai's side that was actually faster. So you were threatening a fake out into the Urshifu and then maybe an Ice Skull Crash into that Rillaboom. So we see the Incineroar in turn switch in for the Rillaboom slot and the attack from the Urshifu. Doesn't want to opt for getting fake outed there, just tries to play as defensive as possible. But we do see the fake out, with the Clear Amulet still doing pretty sizable damage, even in spite of the Intimidate, and Ice Skull Crash following up doing a little bit less. So seeing the value of that Clear Amulet immediately, could have swung with a high horsepower there to potentially get a knockout with Sacred Sword, but goes for the little bit safer of a play there.
Yeah, a little bit safer of a play, and bringing Incineroar in, of course, that just makes so much sense against Rillaboom and Qianpao. However, the Clear Amulet can sometimes flip this matchup a little bit, because yeah, with high horsepower you have a very, very powerful tool, especially when boosted by Sword of Ruin. So the Incineroar isn't as safe on the board as it might seem, because of this Clear Amulet and this particular set on the Rillaboom. So, while you are threatening a, say, Fake Out and Searching Strikes into Qianpao, you still have to be very, very careful, because you probably wouldn't want to lose your Incineroar to high horsepower here. Mirai, seeing this threat from miles away, decides to swap out in the Qianpao and will bring in Urshifu on his own. It's another one of those classical switch-ins into an Incineroar and Urshifu board. But nice call there by Zeen, going off the Rillaboom.
Yeah, I really like the switch into the Urshifu. It does two things. One, if the Surging Strike goes wide into the Qianpao, you have a resistance coming in. That's pretty solid. It also removes Sword of Ruin from the field, meaning that if you go for Fake Out Close Combat in the Rillaboom, even though it's a Clear Amulet set, probably not as bulky, it should still be able to survive that attack, given the Sword of Ruin isn't on the field. So really heads up play, really multifaceted from Mirai there, and now has a pretty decent position with his Urshifu on the field, pressuring the Incineroar on Zeen's side.
Yeah, so you take a little bit of damage, and it's not the best, but getting Fake Out active, or sorry, not getting Fake Out active, but getting Incineroar threatened now by your own Urshifu is kind of the name of the game at this point. And now, once again, it's this time it's going to be Zeen who is a little bit on the back foot. Maybe has to try and switch in the Rillaboom, if I had to guess. Yep, seems like that is the name of the game. But then it's always so risky to protect in face of an Urshifu, because yeah, if Mirai decides to read this, we could see something like a close combat going into this Urshifu.
Yeah, we see the tech come out from the Urshifu. Let's see if it gets targeted into. We see the Rillaboom did attack with the Grassy Glide into the Urshifu. Would have brought it down pretty close to the Focus Sash, at least in range of another close combat, but it was a Surging Strike. Could have been an opportunity to go for a close combat there. Not sure of the Terrestrialization on Zeen's side that might have necessitated the Surging Strikes to cover for that, do a little bit more damage. But yeah, the Rillaboom taking roughly a little less than half on switch, going to heal up with the Grassy Terrain on all the Pokemon. And yeah, finally confirming 100% that it is the Rillaboom, and the Rillaboom is faster on Mirai's side. I believe we saw the interaction on turn 1 of game 1, but it was a little sketchy. It's always kind of hard to read if you're not paying close attention. Now, very clear, the Rillaboom on Mirai's side is faster.
Yeah, one thing to note about this particular matchup, the way you try to play it with Qianpao is usually you can try and bring Qianpao as a lead, but you can very, very rarely switch it in because you want to keep that Focus Sash around. So Mirai is very likely to just try and play the game with kind of with 3 Pokemon without the Qianpao, so to say. And yeah, this is one of those spots where it's really, really tough to make a switch for either player. So instead, we're just seeing another round of Fake Out and Surging Strikes into the Rillaboom, but that leaves Urshifu over on Mirai's side free to move, as it didn't detect or switch out here. And yeah, Rillaboom with the grassy terrain really taking those Surging Strikes nicely, and there finally we gotta see some close combat, but it's not quite enough to get the knockout on Rillaboom.
Yeah, I feel like on Zeen's side, you're wishing you had close combat at one of these times. This Rillaboom would have gone down, but maybe expecting an Incineroar Bring on Carlos's side, trying to catch that, or even trying to catch the Fluttermane switching in on a close combat. Definitely valid defensive options on Mirai's side. However, yeah, the Rillaboom is now really low on Zeen's side, should be in range of a Grassy Glide from your own Rillaboom. You are the faster of the 2 Rillaboom, as we established in previous turns. You can probably double into that slot to try and catch an Incineroar defensive switch in with a Surging Strikes or a close combat. Yeah, to go from there.
Yeah, maybe you would have liked your own Rillaboom to go down there. I'm not quite sure. I guess this is a chance to go for a double up into Urshifu with a Grassy Glide and close combat, but it seems like Mirai doesn't want to see that. And yeah, if I had to guess, we'll see the 4th Pokemon now. You really don't want to switch in Qianpao, so instead it's gonna be Fluttermane. And yeah, if this is indeed a close combat aimed at the Urshifu, then finally, just when Zeen decided this time, now it's the time for close combat, now the Fluttermane comes in. So let's have a look there. Grassy Glide gets the KO on Rillaboom, and Urshifu whiffs the attack with the close combat. Yeah, what a play.
Perfect timing from Carlos.
Yeah, 3 times in a row, calling out the move from Urshifu perfectly and getting away from this position without a scratch here. And now that Rillaboom is down, well, what you have going for you is the Focus Sash is still intact, and you could bring in Incineroar or Fluttermane potentially to get the speed advantage. Like, I guess the most basic play would be you switch in Incineroar right now, go for the Fake Out into Rillaboom, and Surging Strikes into the Fluttermane. But we have seen that Fluttermane over on Mirai's side is actually the Terra Grass, so Zeen's saying, well, I don't want to play this risky kind of game here after you called out my moves so many times. Now, instead, I just want to go for some raw damage on this Rillaboom. The option that Mirai has, though, would be to go for a Grassy Glide and double up into the Urshifu, unless Grassy Terrain ran out last turn, which I think
it actually did end last turn. So the Rillaboom might want to pivot out or just stay on the field and let itself get knocked out for a little bit stronger position next game. We do see the Terastallization coming out. Most likely going to be that defensive Grass Terastallization on the Fluttermane on Mirai's side. Doesn't want to take these Surging Strikes. Of course, we could see, Zeen finally get one of these turns correct on the close combat targeting. Close combat the Fluttermane. That'd be a big change. But yeah, we do see the Moonblast. Okay, going to the Rillaboom. Icy Wind would have been kind of close. Probably wouldn't have knocked out, but would have been close. But doesn't want to risk that. Takes the Moonblast. And now is it going to be Surging Strikes or close combat? Thunderwave comes out from the Fluttermane. Just limiting its speed, going to make it a prime target for the Urshifu on Carlos' side, as it is the close combat. He does make the read. It gets so close to a knockout, but might even be in range of an Aqua Jet on the next turn. So yeah, really big turn from Zeen. That's the world champion caliber play that you need to make these big comebacks after going down so many turns. Gets the close combat targeting right and gets a lot of damage on this Fluttermane. Could be critical in this battle.
Yeah, some might even call this the world champ diff. As we get some info about about how things are trained here for Zeen's Fluttermane, but just confirming, yeah, well, it is quite fast, but yeah, this is one of those situations where, well, you have the speed booster energy, but you are paralyzed. So does this Fluttermane still outpace Urshifu? Well, we just saw the number, but I'm not gonna do the math in my head because yeah, that could make me look stupid. But there's also the chance of just another Icy Wind to follow up here. For Mirai's side, but instead decides that, yeah, you don't want to lose Fluttermane right away, and now is actually switching in Qianpao, which could be quite risky, because, yeah, you are offering your opponent a chance to just, break the Focus Sash potentially, maybe even, knock it out with a couple of hits there. But, yeah, Mirai saying maybe, yeah, I need the Fluttermane later on, or he wants this Urshifu to do even more damage with the Sword of Ruin.
Yeah, I think a really tactical switch in where you're not certain of the Fluttermane's EV spread. You want your Surging Strike to KO here if you have the speed advantage. Oh, but it is
Oh,
Thunder Wave. It is a
wow.
paralysis on the Fluttermane. It would have outsped, as we do see. The Urshifu did go for something. Was
It went the close
detect?
combat. No, it went for the close combat into the Fluttermane.
Oh my goodness.
Trying to...
Such a crazy play.
Wait, but why?
I don't know. It's Terastallization. Is it Fairy?
I think it's Grass as well.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, with the sort of Ruin boost, the close combat would have knocked out. Just absolutely going for broke there. But yeah, we do see the speed interaction. It looks like the Fluttermane would have been faster, would have gotten a Moonblast off potentially. Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, on Mirai's side, went for the Tear Water to try and knock out the Fluttermane with the Aqua Jet. Otherwise, might have been pretty close. But man, such a crazy turn.
Yeah, so what could have been an explosive turn for Mirai going for the hard read. In the end, like, nothing really happens because of the paralyzation. But yeah, now it's gonna be the Surging Strikes knocking out Qianpao, that's for sure. But then let's see, Fluttermane was faster than Urshifu, even being paralyzed. Let's see if it can move this turn.
We see the Fluttermane going for an action. We see... Oh, it is able to get the Moonblast off into the Urshifu, and that is a one-hit knockout. And with just the Fluttermane at low HP in the back, it looks like Zeen has wrapped this up in what was a crazy last couple of turns, but now should be fairly open and shut.
Wow. Yeah. It seemed like the things were going in Mirai's favor there for quite a while, but in the end, it is the world champion that prevails, and it is going to be Zeen that will, keep his clean sheet. Thank you for watching today's game. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you soon for some more Pokemon action.